Hey guys, what's up? It is Grizzly here, and I seem to be unable to type today. But either way, we are back with another Shadow Era commentary. Today we have what looks like a Banebo versus Zaladar. So, I don't see a lot of Banebos. Generally, I see Victor Heartstriker, but Banebo, I have to admit, is not all that common. He, of course, has the ability to deal, I believe it's damage to two. He can deal two different target heroes or allies 2 damage, and that damage cannot be blocked by any armor or abilities. I knew it was damage dealing of some kind, so very effective, especially against monsters like Armored Sandworm and Infernal Gargoyle, who have that damage reduction. So, can be good for finishing off those monsters. With a Zaladar, I doubt we're going to see either of those monsters come onto the field, but you never know what we could see. So we see Banebo start out with Brutalis. Good 1/4, solid starting monster to build an army off of. Yeah, its high health makes it an asset early game against the weaker monsters because it can take more counterattacks than most monsters can. So yeah, alright, well. Anyway, so I'm still on this massive Call of Duty marathon that I've been playing, so still off doing that. I actually haven't been able to play. I just haven't played anything else since I started playing Black Ops again. We see Banebo throw down another Infernal Gargoyle, or an Infernal Gargoyle, not another. So that's going to be a solid base to start on. I mean, that's going to be really rough early game for Zaladar to deal with because Infernal Gargoyle with that 1 damage reduction can be just such a pain in the ass for early game monsters. And now we see Death Mage Thaddeus hit the field. And that's kind of what I'm talking about, is what'll happen is, you know, if Death Mage Thaddeus wanted to use his ability on Infernal Gargoyle, it would only do 1 damage instead of 2, meaning that it would take him twice as many turns to hack him down to size, which is just a colossal waste of time and resources. So those Infernal Gargoyles and Armored Sandworms, which are the slightly larger counterpart, just really, really good armor builders. So we'll see what Banebo brings out. Right now, Banebo has a start to a powerful army, and I don't know. Zaladar is going to have to counteract this quickly because this has the potential to snowball. So we see a I'm sorry, I forgot the name of that card. It's a Wrath of the Forest. There we go. Come onto the field, and we see the 2 damage from Banebo, his special ability, hit Death Mage Thaddeus and Zaladar. So now Death Mage Thaddeus taken care of, and that is brutal. And we see Brutalis attack Zaladar directly. So Banebo taking a decisive early game lead, and I'm just going to check that Wrath of the Forest. I don't remember exactly what it does. So whenever Banebo loses an ally, he is going to be able to draw a card. And Zaladar, using his special ability to nuke both monsters for 3 damage, but with his damage reduction, it only deals Infernal Gargoyle 2 damage. So he's down to 2, and Brutalis is killed. So with Wrath of the Forest on the field, it's gonna be that's gonna be the draw engine for Banebo. Every time he loses a monster, he's gonna gain a card. So it's kind of making the best of a crappy situation. So we see Sacrificial Lamb go down, and what that does is it kills the monster and allows the user to draw. I think it's the number of cards it took to summon. I believe is the ability of Sacrificial Lamb. So by sacrificing Infernal Gargoyle, Banebo got to draw 2 cards, and then he just played another mode immediately. So good trade. All right, we see Shadow Knight hit the field, a 5/4, and Shadow Knight is one of my personal favorite cards. He has the ability to return the last creature that was killed, or the top creature in your graveyard, to your hand. So if you have multiple Shadow Knights, you can actually cycle them repetitiously, but it's not the easiest strategy to pull off. It's easiest if you have 3 that you have either in your hand or on the field all at once, and that, you know, it's pretty hard to come by. But still, an awesome card. Does get poisoned arrowed, so now it is only a I'm sorry, it's still 5/4, but every turn it will take 1 shadow damage. And Death Mage Thaddeus hits the field, dealing Zaladar 1 damage. I think he probably should have dealt that to Shadow Knight. Now, that's just my opinion. Poison Arrow did disable Shadow Knight, so he won't be able to attack this turn, which means basically he was given a death sentence. It just prolongs it. But I think if he had used Death Mage Thaddeus to just kill Shadow Knight, it would have been easier. But still, I mean, either way, Shadow Knight's not a threat. So we see Bad Santa go down by Zaladar. That's going to allow both players to draw 3 cards. And we are seeing Zaladar use his ability, I think. Yep, there it is. And he is nuking both those monsters. Death Mage Thaddeus down to 1, Infernal Gargoyle down to 2. We see Zaladar's Death Mage Thaddeus hit the field and use his summoning ability to kill Banebo's Death Mage. And now it is Banebo's turn. Now, Banebo still has a decisive lead, not only in health, but I think in general field position. That Infernal Gargoyle is definitely a better monster than Death Mage. I can't talk today. The Death Mage is definitely outmatched. We see a Soul Seeker hit the field. If Banebo uses that to kill Death Mage Thaddeus, he will gain 2 life. So I am really surprised he didn't use... Unless I got the ability of that card wrong. Let me check. When your hero when your hero kills an ally in combat, we'll say wait a minute. Heals 3 damage. So yeah, probably because he's at full health, he decided not to use that special ability. We see another Shadow Knight go down. So that's good for Zaladar, getting out those strong monsters. However, with both a Soul Seeker and Infernal Gargoyle on the field, that Shadow Knight is in a rough spot. However, he does have enough attack power to outright kill Infernal Gargoyle, and unless Banebo plays an additional card, he's not going to have enough outright power to kill Shadow Knight this turn. So we could be looking at the death of that Infernal Gargoyle. We do see Molten Destroyer go down, and a Medusal. I have not actually seen Medusal yet. One of those cards that I haven't come across at this point. I'll tell you about that card in a couple seconds. But we see Shadow Knight go down, and that is going to be rough for Zaladar to deal with. I think Banebo has this pretty well cornered. That Molten Destroyer is going to be a beast on the field. Would really like to look at Medusal, but I'm not getting a look. It looks like she's a 3/4. I believe her ability, you know what, I'm not even going to guess. So, yeah. Let's see how Zaladar counteracts this. And I am sorry I can't tell you about that card. I'll study up on it. Hopefully this won't happen again. I have slowly been learning all the cards, but... Alright, so we see Zaladar uses 3 damage ability to kill Infernal Gargoyle and deal 3 damage to Medusal. We see Mind Control go down, taking out that Molten Destroyer who does hack out Banebo for a few damage. Banebo is forced to counterattack with Soul Seeker, dealing him additional 1 damage. So that was a good turnaround. Medusal only has 1 health remaining. And I was right, she is a 3/4. I don't know what her special ability is, but she's a 3/4, and that's the important part at the moment. And Zaladar, though he doesn't have anything on the field, he reduced Banebo's army to 1 weakened monster. So still not exactly in a good position, but a good counterattack. So let's see how Banebo follows it up. That Wrath of the Forest is just absolutely dominating in terms of being a good card source. Those monsters he's losing are just more cards that he gets to draw, and that is just, I imagine, is just really aiding him. Target opposing ally can't defend until the end of your next turn, I believe is what it said, and that was a cost 1, so that is what it did. I had a feeling it had to do with disabling just because of the whole Medusa thing, but cannot defend until the end of your next turn. So that's a very useful ability, especially against a monster like Raven Wildheart. We see another Mind Control go down on that second Molten Destroyer. So that is the second Molten Destroyer killed by Mind Control. Excellent move by Zaladar. And he plays down Death Mage Thaddeus using the ability to deal that 1 last damage to Medusal. So now it's Death Mage Thaddeus versus Brutalis, and Death Mage Thaddeus definitely outmatches Brutalis. I mean, it's not, like he'll walk out unscathed, but Death Mage would definitely win that confrontation. So let's see what Banebo can come up with. Now, next turn, he will be able to use his special ability. And there goes down Shadow Knight, bringing back Medusal, which he also plays. So now he has Medusal, Shadow Knight, and Brutalis, and he just dealt the killing blow to that Death Mage with that Poison Arrow. It won't happen right away, but it will happen. And Death Mage is disabled for the next turn, so we won't be able to use his special ability. And that is going to be the GG, unfortunately, unless Zaladar can kill all the monsters on the field, because he does not have enough health to stand up against Banebo in the next turn. which is unfortunate. But like I said, those Shadow Knights are just miraculous in bolstering your numbers. So, and there's the GG. Alright, well, thanks to both players for a well-played game. Banebo just had a really superior, overwhelming strategy. He just got his monsters out really quickly, didn't let up on the pressure, and that is what I think took the game for him. But Zaladar, some very well-played counterattacks, and yeah. Alright, so don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe this video. Don't forget to check out my other video series, A Noob's Journey, which I actually think I will start recording for again. And I will see you guys in the next video.